go from the start. So when did you start playing football? What did that look like?
I started playing football at about 3 years old. I can't even remember the name of the team I played for, but we just played in an orange kit. It was called Tony's team. Played there. Just loved football from a very young age. Done bits of like Cardiff City development and stuff. Played for Penabon's Academy, which is where I'm from in Bridgend, for up until I was about 14, and then there was the Cymru Cup, which is something that the FAW hold annually, and I represented South Wales in that through Penabon, and I ended up getting like a Wales call up from that. So I was involved with Wales from like under 15s, under 16s, and then I got picked up by Newport County. I'd been there for about four years. I was there up until second year scholar, but in my time as a scholar, I just ridiculed with injuries, to be honest, especially in my second year. First year didn't really play too much. Second year was having a really good season, then got injured. So obviously that was a shame, especially to happen in my second year. So after that, then I went out to America on a football scholarship. Was there for about 2 years. Broke my foot, and I sort of had enough of a football out in America. It wasn't quite the same as back home, so I decided to come back home, and then that's when I came to the UK football trials, because it was a good avenue to just showcase, for anyone their ability and see what can happen off the back of that.
And then where did you go to?
Cardiff Met from the UK football. From the UK football trials, got picked up by Cardiff Met. I spoke with Chris Baker and stuff at the trial, and that was a good experience.
Son, and then what are you doing now? What's been the process since then? So you said you spoke to Chris Baker, and then do you go straight in? Do you go for a trial?
Right. I spoke to Chris Baker. They had me in for pre-season with no guarantees of a contract or anything, but just to see how I'd done over the course of pre-season. And pre-season went really well. Thought I'd done quite well in pre-season. I got offered a contract off of that, but I haven't really been playing in the season. I've been injured again. It seems to be the story at the minute, but I'm trying to hopefully, once I get back from this injury, I'm really hoping I do have an injury-free patch, because it's been the same sort of the story for a while now. So I haven't really featured in the season, but pre-season went quite well.
Yeah, nice. And this is your pro contract, right?
Yeah, right.
Brilliant. And what was that like? Did you, when you obviously signed that contract, were you gassed? Were you like, what was your feelings?
I obviously I was over the moon when I signed the contract, because it's just nice to be back, having a club back in the UK. It was something I wanted, because I sort of lost all momentum being out in the States. The football, the standards not as good as over here. So it was a really good feeling to have a contract back over here again and feel like I'm on the right trajectory again.
Yeah. And what was like, you've got a specific moment when at UK football trials, did you kind of have a feeling you would get picked up? Was there a specific moment you like, I don't know, do you play well on the day, on the trial day? Was it anything specifically you can pinpoint?
I was actually blowing on the trial day, because it was my first game in ages, because I broke my foot. I hadn't played in about almost 7 months or something. So I was blowing on the day. But when I spoke to Chris Baker, he seemed quite welcoming and eager to see what more of me. So that was probably the moment I sort of realised that there was potentially something coming off the back of it.
Did he have a chat with you on the day?
Yeah, he spoke to me on the day. Yeah.
Nice. And then obviously following all that, how long was it before the trial then you obviously got your pro contract? What was the time scale in that?
It was, I can't give you accurate. It was a few weeks before I started training pre-season with them, and I had my contract. Actually, couldn't even tell you.
Yeah. Sorry. And then what was pre-season like?
Pre-season fitness. It was I'd made sure I wasn't struggling this time fitness wise. Made sure I done really well in the fitness tests. I topped the fitness tests. I made sure I came in top condition. So in pre-season, I thought I'd done everything I could. Because I remember one of Hamps, one of the coaches there, saying to all that there was quite a lot of new lads in pre-season, and he said, "You've got to give us, but to give you a contract." And when he said that, it was like, all right, I really got to put maximum effort and really make sure I give a good account of myself. So I made sure to do that in pre-season. I thought, but pre-season in general was quite hard. There was I think I played 6 games, 6 fixtures. I remember playing Hednesford, which I believe they're step 5. We were sort of supposed to lose that day. The big time guys coming down, and we won, that was a really good game to be part of. But yeah, unfortunately, I haven't really been part of the season so far.
Yeah.
Injury and stuff here and there.
Yeah. Was there a point where you thought when you were in preseason that you thought you would sign your pro? Like, was there did you think you've been playing well? Was there like, do you know what I mean? You sound very humble. Like most people I speak to, they're always like, oh, I'm sick of football, like X, Y, and Z. You seem quite head screwed on, you know. So what was it for you what made you stand out, you know?
Yeah, it was after one of the, I can't remember. I'm really poor with remembering fixtures and who we played on what day. It's just not my strong point. But
yeah, it's fine.
I remember after one of the games specifically, I had probably one of my best games of pre-season, and Jenks, the manager, pulled me and he said in my ear, "You're not going anywhere." So that was like that's sort of the moment I knew, okay, I've done enough to earn myself a contract, you know.
Nice. And then where were you when you signed the contract? Do you remember?
Yeah, I signed the contract on campus here, in the NIAC with Chris Baker.
Nice. And then like I said, feelings on the day, you walking out thinking, oh, this is sick. Like,
yeah, of course.
Because obviously it's not new to you, because you've obviously been involved in that whole environment for a while, you know. What I think is especially interesting with you is obviously we put through lots of kids who are in the 14-15 bracket who are signing and stuff, but signing your pro is a whole different story. It's like it's a big step, you know. So we have lots of players coming to our trials, and a lot of players when they're 16, 17, 18, 19 going on, they think their time's over. Do you know what I mean? Like they think, oh, well, I can't sign anything, I can't get into the system. Like, what would you say to that?
That's something I've even fell a bit victim to, you know. But it's definitely a mindset you have to. I think comparison is the thief of joy, so you have to try and block them thoughts out as much as you possibly can. And I think if you really love football, you'll just keep pursuing it and keep trying. And me personally, it's just not an option to give up or stop playing. I've had so many injuries, and even now, like, you know, I really don't want to stop. So
yeah. And like I said, what's like, if you had to say one piece of advice to people who are we've got trials in December, what would you say? Like some of the older lot, what would you say to them? What would you? Yeah.
I would say, for me personally, as a winger, I think it's just important just to not be scared to take risks when you're on a football pitch. A lot of people, I've fallen victim to it. You know, I think every footballer has. You play within yourself at times to try and please someone, or, you know, X, Y, and Z. But I think personally, the best thing to do is, you know, not be afraid when you're on a football pitch, and not be scared to take any form of risk, because that's what personally, you know, they want to see especially if you're a winger. They want to see you get out your player, take risks, you know, be direct. So yeah, I just definitely say to not be scared to take risks is the main one for me.
Yeah. And in mindset as well, obviously you have to be very resilient. I mean, so many injuries, you must think, oh, I can't do this again. Do you know what I mean? I can't go through all this rehab and train again and get back to square one again. Like, in terms of mindset, what advice would you say on that? Like, how did you keep yourself in check? How did you think, you know what, I'll give it one more go? Like, was it sort of going back to square one every time? What was it for you?
No, that's probably the hardest question you've asked me. I think, to be totally honest, it's the way my dad has made me, like, raised me, sort of. I've always wanted to be a footballer. It's always been my dream. You know, it's always been my biggest passion. So for me, it was just is it something I'm willing to give up on? And it's never been an option to give up. So it's always like, it's quite difficult dealing with injury after injury, because obviously you do your rehab, you watch the players out on the pitch and doing what you want to be doing, playing games. You also don't feel as a part of the team. because you're sort of just on the outskirts of the time. So it's definitely comes with its challenges, but the ultimate goal is I want to be able to play football again. So I'm going to stick at it, you know.
So what would you say is your big advice then?
Oh,
Get on with
sorry.
it. Keep going.
High question. Yeah. To stay resilient, but it sounds cliche, but you know, you have to. If you really want to, I think you will stay resilient, and that's the main thing. Is to
Everyone
not.
always says, we have coaches at our trials. They always say you've got to be obsessed with football. You've got to be obsessed with football. It's the only way you'll do good in football is if you're obsessed with it.
Right.
What do you make of that?
I think that's pretty true. I mean, I've seen a lot of people give up who are talented footballers, just based off the fact that they haven't had enough opportunities or they haven't gone anywhere with the football and they just stop playing. But I think if you are obsessed with football and you love football and you continue to play it, you know, I think something will come of it if you really are trying for that.
Yeah, of course. And then just flashing back to obviously, what did you think of UK Football Trials? Obviously you've gone and signed for Cardiff Met at the back of it, but would you recommend it to players like yourselves or players who have been in the system a little bit and can't and want to get good exposure? Like what would you say?
Yeah, no, I definitely recommend it. You know, it's clearly an avenue. It's worked for me, so of course I'm going to recommend it. It's an avenue, I think, where you can showcase your ability, and that goes for anyone, you know. So yeah, I'd definitely recommend it.
Brilliant. And especially being a senior player as well. We always find a senior player saying, "Oh, it's not much use for me to come because obviously it's harder for me to sign and stuff and or get into a club and whatnot." But obviously worked in your favour. What advice would you say specifically to that older age group? You know, who were thinking, "Oh, is it worth coming?" and whatnot.
Yeah, I'd still say it's worth coming. The trial was filled with a lot of 18 to a bit younger than I am. But there was still quite a few guys I think around my age that were there. So I'd still recommend it, you know. I think it's a good avenue for anyone, you know, if you're really trying to push on and try to find something else. It's definitely a good avenue. It's definitely something you should
Nice.
do, you know, regardless of age, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And then obviously looking into the future, what's the goals? What are you looking to do? You know?
Yeah, looking into the future, I just really want to be part of the team here at Cardiff Met and get back from my injury and hopefully stay injury free. You know, fingers crossed, have a season without injuries because
Yeah.
it hasn't happened in 3 years. So I'm hoping soon. Yeah.
Nice. Brilliant. And then looking past that in football, like is there a particular place you want to get to? Do you want to yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think everyone does, but it's like I think the main thing is to just be. I find myself looking forward too much sometimes, and I think the best thing is to just be present because, you know, injury after injury, stuff like that. You know, I think it's best to stay present. But of course, I want to play at the highest level I possibly
Yeah.
can. So yeah, whatever that
Yeah.
is, take it.